we'll just discuss the flow that I'll start with the introduction and then we'll let the participants in a few minutes.
What's up? How you based out of Kolkata? Is that right?
Yes.
How is weather there now?
Actually, we had there was rain yesterday, so now actually we are starting with monsoons.
Oh, cool.
They're lucky.
The weather here is also good today. I think it's a little windy and less sunny.
Yesterday was terrible.
You had a last night party, so it should be fun for you.
Yeah, that's it. Night was nice. Day was very, very warm.
I hope participants are not there right now. Diksha, what stream you are in?
I'm doing BCom second year. I'm in my second year right now.
Cool, yeah. So 3 years, is that right?
Yes.
So Akriti, I went today morning to take my son for football class. Actually, there was some match, soccer. So the weather was not bad.
I'm sure you must have enjoyed it.
Sundays at least, yeah. And it was some match for different societies actually. So not
You
in
should
our
have got
society.
pictures for us.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, we'll upload them. Let's start, Diksha.
I think
Yes.
60 odd folks are there now. Yeah, 55. How many of them are expected?
So we'll keep letting people in because once we start, and also we are it is being live streamed on YouTube, so some people will be joining in from there as well.
Yeah.
But we'll start.
Yeah.
Sure. Diksha, Rayon is also waiting to join in. If you can let him in.
Yes, we've let everybody in. Good morning and a very warm welcome to one and all present here. Please keep in mind the following pointers before the session begins. Kindly rename yourselves as name_roll number. Video and audio has been disabled for all the attendees. In case of any query, kindly address it through the chat box to xcs_queries. Please maintain decorum at all times during the meeting. We are waiting for others to join in. Please be patient.
Diksha, where are cameras for others? Yeah, I want to see how many of them are at a ease mode right now.
So actually, a lot of people will face network issues because if they switch on their camera, so we do not actually let the participants switch on their camera.
Yeah.
But they can interact through the chat box.
Yeah. But those who are at home, they can switch on, yeah. Let it be more interactive.
Right, so we'll just change it. Meanwhile, attendees, please note, kindly rename yourselves as name_roll number. Video and audio has been disabled. In case of any query, kindly address it through the chat box to xcs_queries. Please maintain decorum at all times during the meeting. On behalf of the Xavier's Commerce Society, it is an honor to welcome you to the much-awaited Insignia 2022, Rise of Imperium. Social Nation is a collective initiated by One Digital Entertainment and Event Capital. In 2019, Social Nation had the biggest digital content and creator fest in Mumbai, which we all know was a huge success. Today, we have Mr. Amit Khatri, co-founder of Noise, with us. With a real sense of the pulse of India, Mr. Amit has an eye for design-driven impact. He has curated playbooks for building successful bootstrapped companies and is an inspiration for young aspiring entrepreneurs. He has over 18 years of experience spanning across the retail and supply chain industry and the entrepreneurial and startup ecosystem. Mr. Amit's passion, however, lies in leading young businesses to phenomenal growth trajectories. At Noise, Mr. Amit is spearheading design technology and business expansion while building a great culture to quickly become a global hypergrowth market leader. Sir's aim is to further strengthen the vision of Noise and make it a global connected lifestyle brand, putting India on the global map when it comes to quality consumer tech offerings. Sir, we are grateful to have you amidst us today. Without further ado, we would request Sir to begin with today's session.
Thank you guys for having me here, Diksha. First of all, I want to know how many of you have heard about Noise. Guys, anybody has heard of it before? Or we have failed to target you guys? Only
You can
one guy
use the
knows
chat
us.
box, guys.
No, they're
case
using it. So I think only one of us knows Noise. Yeah. So guys, yeah, thank you very much for coming in. I would try to make it more worthwhile for all of you who are here. I grew up in a small town called Bikaner, did my postgrad from Hyderabad. I worked for 3 years with brands like H&M, Zara, and then started my first business based out of Hong Kong, ran that for 5-7 years successfully, and then started Noise. Just a quick thing on Noise, we are #1 brand in India for truly wireless and wearables. We are the largest in terms of the wearable if you look at it. We are #2 in truly wireless. Our mission is to make, oh wow, somebody's a Noise user. Chalo. Diksha, you should also become a Noise user. So we wanted to become the largest connected lifestyle brand and put India onto the global map. Anyways, I would be more than happy to hear from you what you guys have in mind, and feel free for Q&As. Yeah. Diksha, anything you would want to know? I'll be happy to interact if I can be of help to any one of you.
Yes, sir. We'll move on to a question and answer session then. So our first question for you is, what did your journey look like before starting Noise?
So Diksha, before starting Noise, I worked. I had 2 stints. I worked for a company called Orient Craft. They were into manufacturing for brands like H&M, Zara, so Gap, JCPenney, and all. I was leading the product development and supply chain division. I got a chance to set up their international supply chain business, and from then on, I started my first business, where again I was working very closely with brands like H&M, Zara. I did that for 5-6 years, got a good hang of the international markets, traveled a lot, realized what's there in India and what's there in overseas, saw a huge gap, got a little bit more interactive with the design. I used to work with a lot of international designers that time, and that's how we started Noise. 2014 we wanted to do something in consumer tech. We started with mobile covers, and then gradually we pivoted to wearables or truly wireless as Adobe.
Right, so sir, for the second question that we have for you is, what actually inspired you to start Noise?
Diksha, when I was working, I realized that I was not doing anything meaningful there. I mean, my job was not keeping me happy, and I always wanted to contribute to the society in a bigger way. When we traveled overseas, we realized that there is a huge gap actually, if you see in the market. I mean, there was not much available for the millennial here actually. All were the most expensive brands, and that's what we pushed off to solve the problem ourselves and for others.
Okay, sir.
Akansha, somebody has written a question. Akansha, what's the piece of advice for 19-year-old today? I think for everyone here, actually, keep doing what you feel is good, and there is no right time. If you want to do a startup, do it. Don't worry to fail. But you have to give your best. You need to be passionate about what you're doing.
So we have seen that you have founded several other startups in the past as well. So what was new about this venture, about entering into the wearables market?
So in my past startup, that was B2B, Diksha. So I got a clear sense how, I mean, I was the back end actually, was not the front end. So we were trying to help build other organizations' brands. And D2 noise was different in a way because this was D2C and was not a B2B space. So here we are able to interact with the consumers and we are able to build for the nation.
So you were actually looking for something that's more consumer driven and where you could, the interactive space could be more in terms of.
Yeah.
So the next question that we have for you is like when you started this startup, I'm sure that you must have faced a lot of challenges when you were building noise. So would you like to share some of the challenges that you faced?
So yeah, definitely. When you set up a startup, the challenges are that how would you fight the big boys around? Somebody has written a question also that the industry is very competitive. Yeah. So when we started, the industry was very competitive that time also. But you have to start somewhere, and I think speed is the key. So we went started, and then honestly, if you ask me, we did not have the recipe on the day one. How would we succeed? But when we started, I think our journey started shaping up and then we are leading the industry. I mean, Dev, we have close to 200 brands in this space who are leading the wearable market, and our persistence and focus has helped us to stay on top.
Yes, sir. Moving on, the another question that we have for you is, knowing what you know right now, is there anything you would have done differently when you were first starting out in this wearables market, or when you started with, or when you founded another startup in the past?
I mean, yeah, I think if you ask me what I would have done before or what would I miss not doing is I feel speed is the key. So sometimes we take a lot of time in decision making of doing something or yeah, thoda wait karte hain, dekhte hain. Let's see the landscape. So it's important to get started. I mean, I've given a chance, I would have maybe started 2 years back. Instead of thinking, I would have executed it fast.
Right. So, but anything like in terms of what you learned right now, would you, if you could change maybe you had first focused on something which was more into employee centric, but then you changed the like basically how you change the processes in your own company. If you could have done that differently, is there anything that
So Diksha, yes. So this question is a little far fetched because there's a second phase when you build when you done a startup. I would rather try to invest on building the systems and processes so that when you scale, you don't get stuck up there. But I think it comes with scale only because when you are starting new, your focus is to stabilize the business first, generate the revenues, generate the first $100 of profit, and then move ahead. So yeah, I would rather invest in processes, but maybe that's a second phase, yeah, for any business to think about it.
Yes, sir. So you already answered one of the questions, but is there any advice that you would give to the people in the audience who wish to become an entrepreneur like you?
I mean, if you have to do something, if you're really passionate about it, just get going. Who's stopping you? I mean, see, the economy has become so open. There are government incentives for startups, and it's a digital world. So, it was time before when you used to have you needed a shop or a showroom to do a business or an offline business, but it's online. If you have an idea, you just market it online and you will see the success. There are a lot of, if you want to build something on tech or product, there are forums like in Kickstarter and all. You can get going there. I mean, there is no barrier if you want to do something. My only suggestion is just get started. And the sooner you fail, the better it is.
Yes, sir. Sir, my next question for you is,
Sorry,
how would you?
Harish has written
Yes, sir.
something. Harish, So Harish, I started my first company from the savings of my first job. So I used to draw a salary of maybe 30 or thousand. My expenses were very high, so maybe in 3.5 years span I could save only 60, 70 odd thousand grands, and that really helped me starting the first business.
So the next question that we have for you is, how would you define failure and success in the startup ecosystem?
I think when for all of you, yeah, if you guys are starting, why are you worried about failing? I mean, just start and do it. There is nothing what is failure or success. You should be happy and content about it. I'll tell you the bigger regret what you will have. If you'll not start, you will always feel like I never did it. I should have done that. So that should not be the case. I mean, I'm glad that, when I was starting my first business, there were a lot of things. Should I do it or not? Or I'm leaving my job, which is stable, but I'm glad I did that. I mean, so don't worry about failure or success. It's just in mind. I mean, just get going.
Right. So in terms of contentment and satisfaction, it's absolutely about getting started with, if you want to become an entrepreneur, just do it. But so when maybe if you could elaborate on the profits area, or when the companies start taking in investments from various VC funds. So what will be success and failure in that case?
See, I'll tell you, end metrics is building a sustainable business. So I run a bootstrapped organization, by the way, to all of you. You might not be aware, but we have built an organization at the scale, which is bootstrap. We are the country's largest D2C bootstrap brand. I mean, we're the largest in terms of scale. So we never needed funds. So the key is you take money from investor or your self money. You need to build a sustainable business. So if you're able to generate, till the time you're able to generate profits or build something which is long term, that is the success. If you are sitting on VC's money, if you make losses, you won't be able to sustain beyond a point, maybe year and a half. So
Right,
whatever money it is, you need to consider it's like yours.
Mm-hmm. Got it, sir. So moving on, the next question that we have is, are you currently planning on any new venture, or you have any idea or maybe bringing some radical change in your existing company?
Diksha, I think as an organization, to all of you, I want to recommend that it is important to go deeper into a problem, whatever you solve. So, I mean, we want to build $1 billion organization, and I do not intend personally to start something else. I feel there is enough of scope in the existing line of business where we are. So we'll keep building here only. And Harsh, I think there are enough of examples where Facebook founder and all, nobody had the prior job experience. So I don't think you need that. You need that. Somewhere you just start going.
So the next question that we have for you is, from ideating to the inception of your company, what did you enjoy the most in the process, and what were your biggest learnings?
Diksha, I feel you should do something what you are passionate about, and that's what keep you going. So we always wanted to build a company or organization where we are ourselves the user actually. So that's what the space we want to enter. So when we started with mobile covers, we were ourselves the user. When we started watch, so we smart wearable, we were facing the problem in the market that products were not available, and we built it for ourselves. So first, you need to be passionate about what you are doing and what bigger purpose it is solving. And then each and every moment you enjoy. When you're growing, you see your team building up. I mean, when we started, we were 3-4 odd folks. We are 300 odd people. So that moment we enjoy. When we started, I think, by the way, guys, when you start, you never know where you land. So maybe when we wrote it first, how much business we do, maybe we were 1,000 times of 1,000 times of the business what we planned. So scaling up business, when we became number 10 first, we were very happy. Then gradually we rose on ranks, and then we became number 1. So, I mean, we enjoy every moment.
So any any moment that you faced in the startup, like when you were starting your startup and you faced a breakdown, you had a breakdown somewhere sometime, because all of times we do face failures, and at some point it is so much that it becomes difficult for us to even cope with ourselves and go forward with it.
So Diksha, absolutely right here. We have also seen a fair share of failures or tough times. So I'll tell you, there was a time where, there was a time when we were about to get shut. We did not had enough of monies to run the business, and there were some issues in the product what we were doing. We were expecting a lot of claims out of it, to be honest. And 1 month I had sleepless nights. I didn't know what going to happen next. How would next month look like? But yeah, fortunately we kept going, and we were out of it. So these things would come in, and you should all be prepared with it. So important is persistence, which I would say you need to keep going, and trust me, it will come. When you look at all of us, you see just the success side of it, but we had our enough share of failures. By the way, we have done a lot of product categories where we failed drastically.
Right. So, sir, in this phase when Noise was about to get shut, any process change that you took in your company, which helped it boom, or which helped it again start? So, if you could share any of those instances.
It's. I would rather say my only instance is for 1 month we had sleepless nights. So we need to keep going, Diksha. And processes, for you, all of you, processes come second. You're in a very early stage of your career. So for you, the advice would be just start and go deeper in it. Setting up processes and all come next, actually. Those are not the first things to do.
Yes, sir. Sir, the next question that we have for you is, how have your priorities changed since the time you first started?
When I first started, my priority was sustaining the business, which means we were just looking how would we sustain, we become profitable, and go for a long run. Over time, I think our priorities have changed to more people driven. We would want to invest heavily on people. We feel that's the key asset for us.
Yes, sir. So what are your views on the D2C brand? And
Disha, D2C is an overhyped thing, but if you look at it, D2C is direct to consumers. So, before was the time when we used to have, let's look at cosmetics. You would have heard of brand called Palmolive, Dove, all these brands. But new age consumers don't want to look at it. Okay, what is D2C? D2C is a brand who's talking to a millennial. So we market. We are connected to the consumer. We get the real feedback. We market the way they want. D2C is heavy on digital, and like you all folks, I'm sure very hardly few of you watch television as a medium. So everybody's consuming digital content, and D2C stands there. And I think new generation is able to relate to D2C brands more. I don't think none of you, 95%, I'm sure, people are not using old age brands and last decade brands, and I think D2C is the future. We know what is the pulse of the youngster, what is the pulse of what they are looking at.
Yes, sir. So, sir, my follow-up question to that is, how do you see your company Noise in that in D2C in the long term?
So I'll answer that, Raj, to your question of penetrating the D2C market. So Raj, business basics stand same, whatever industry you are in, is the product and the consumer. So you want to do a D2C business, you want to do a B2B business or any other business, the right focus has to be on the product. Product means what problem it is going to solve. So, I'll tell you, when we launched, when we are launching a new generation of wearable devices, it's just not the devices we are doing. We have a core set of consumers we talk to them and we understand what is the need state it's going to solve for them. For an example, I'll tell you, when we're designing a new generation of watch, we realize that when we're talking to the consumer, they want, "Yeah, we need a better screen. We use mobile phones, the resolution is not great, and we need more sports mode, and it's more fun and lifestyle. So we need more watch faces." So those that really helps us in designing the next set of products. So you need to be consumer and product are key, whatever industry you are in, and if you can crack that, whatever space you want, you will be able to nail that. Diksha, sorry, you're talking about D2C.
Yes, sir.
So what was the question? I missed that.
So actually, you partly answered it. I was just asking how Noise is actually trying to enter into this market.
No, we are already in this market, Diksha.
Yes, sir.
Our aim is to staying true to the consumer with whom we are with, and being at the leadership position is a target.
Right, sir. So right now there are a lot of competitors when it comes to the wearables market. Sir, there must be some marketing techniques or avenues that might have worked for you, or some of the other methods that could have worked for you. Could you share some of them which worked for Noise, and it is the leading brand right now in India.
Diksha, as I said, it's everyone here would have read about 4 P's: product, price, place, promotion. So you need to have a right product at the right price, right place, and promotion. Okay, when you specifically asked about promotion, so promotion is speaking to the right set of consumers. So you should know that the kind of product what you're designing is talking to what set of consumers, and if you're able to whom you're talking, then you know how to attract that consumer.
Yes, sir.
So you need to get those 4 P's right in your mind, to whom you're designing, for what you're designing.
Right. So for any company that is right now in the startup phase, what would your advice be to that entrepreneur? Should they focus more on the product, or should they start increasing the number of products that they have, or should they focus on the quality of the product?
I feel, Diksha, I would not prefer the first approach, because okay, when you are starting, you can't focus on multiple things. When you are saying launch, go in width, it's not the right approach. You should solve a problem deeper, build one product, get into it, and fail fast, I would say. As organization, we also face that challenge every time, where we have plethora of categories coming in, but what we feel, it's recipe to it's recipe to middle performance. Yeah, you can't be best if you're doing multiple things, so it's a recipe to destruction.
Right, sir. Absolutely agreed. So the next question that we have is, so one thing that you have done differently, which has worked for Noise, as compared to other D2C wearables that are there in the market, like Boat or OnePlus. So what would you consider your USP to be, and what is it that you have done differently?
So I think we were able to catch hold of the pulse of the market. We could sense it or gauge it quite early, that where the market is heading, and in the categories where we are in, we were the early movers there. So that has really helped us. So as I was talking about, you need to know to whom you're talking, and so Diksha, we keep on talking to our consumers. We have focus group surveys. We keep on going through our rating reviews on Amazon, Flipkart, or all those marketplaces. And that really tells us that what is the product, what consumers are looking on next, and we stay true to that. So it's not what we're designing and then we are saying, okay, you need to buy this. Consumers are the part of the design process, and that really helps us to stay ahead of the curve.
Right. So the next question that we have is, right now Noise is actually one of the leading brands in India. But how does the company plan to keep the market share and probably expand in the long term?
Stisha, again, consumer product, my two focus always been that it's being deeper into the category. So category, we're gonna be going deeper in the category, and that's gonna help us to increase our market share is just not retaining that.
Right. So there might be some more people who want to enter into the wearables brand. So what do you think those entrepreneurs could do differently, which is not right now present in India? And maybe you all have something in mind which you all are planning to enter into in the future.
So Diksha, if you look at wearable or hearable, so first of all, India is a very big country. If you look at our population is more than 1 billion actually. So first of all, one brand cannot, one size doesn't fit all actually, is that story. So one brand cannot take the entire set of business, which means one brand cannot cater to entire set of consumers. So we feel there are going to be multiple demographic segments which has a different use case. Let's say there is a use case where elderly people are there is no brand catering to them. There is a use case which is sports. So I mean, you can pick any one of them and go deeper in that. Harish, on to you, yaar. Harish, you need to. So I mean, there is a step-by-step process, and as I said, I never knew on the day one that I'll be able to build this company. We started from somewhere, and gradually the process, the vision got solidified, and we grew step by step. So for you talking about numbers, profitability, I think those are second or third stage. It's about crossing the first leg, and we are able to build it. So anybody, I'm sure anyone here will be able to build it better than us.
Yes, sir. Sir, thank you so much for your insights and also for answering all our questions. Now we'll be actually opening it completely for the audience to ask any questions that they have, and all the participants can send a message via the chat box to us. And due to a paucity of time, we'll just be taking a selected. We'll be taking only a few questions.
Yeah. But guys,
so we've already,
how is the college life going for all of you? I think this is the best time in everybody's life. And if you ask me, when I look back, what I miss or what I remember the most is the graduation days, where you get most of the exposure to the outside world. So utilize this time to the best. After this, once you get started with your job, I think you will have very less time for yourself. Yes, Diksha, go ahead.
Yes, sir. So what do you think? So we have some questions coming in, and one of them is, what could possibly be the next technological game changer in the wearable segment? Like you spoke about it before, that getting, like, having a niche for yourself, maybe the sports area or whatever. But what could be, in terms of technology, what do you think could be the game changer?
So I think if you look at technology, we have just started the journey actually. Now everybody's talking about virtual reality, metaverse. So I feel our device is gonna be way smarter than we are today. We will have host of services there. I mean, you won't need to carry your phone. Soon it will replace your phones. Wearable would be first that, and second, it's gonna be the most health hub kind of a thing. Again, as you guys are too young for that, but yeah, it will host sugar monitoring, ECG is there, blood pressure is coming soon. So you will see a shift like we have seen in a feature phone to a smartphone. Maybe you guys all were 10, 11 years that time when we all moved from a feature phone to a Apple kind of a journey. But the similar gonna happen in the wearable space also, wearable or truly wireless both.
Right. So the next question that we have from the audience is, so how do you tackle family pressures? Like for a lot of entrepreneurs, after a certain age, they have to face a lot of family pressures. There's a lot of other things that comes into play, and it becomes difficult for those entrepreneurs to completely focus on their startup and think about, even if that startup is not in their revenue period, in their revenue stage. So what do you think, would you advise those people to leave their job and go out of their comfort zone and start that startup, or continue doing that even?
See, Diksha, we feel first of all, So, why we kept the brand name Noise, because, everybody has got that outside noise. Ki ye karo, wo karo. So when I was in 12th, everybody wanted me to do a doctor or engineer. That was the profession that time. But I never wanted to enter in that domain. So, you should do something what you feel like, what comes from inside, and forget the pressure, what is coming from parents or friends or family. So first of all, you should definitely try that. And I would say you must try what you feel from inside. But second, more important thing is, Diksha, to realize is that the right decision or not. I mean, if something is not working out, you just need to move out of it. You can't keep going for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, till the time there is some decent result getting onto it. But आप वो करो जो दिल का शोर बोलता है यार. You should do what you feel like, and you should never have a regret कि मैंने ये नहीं करा life में.
Yes, sir. So, sir, when we start a startup, there are a lot of things that we learn while we are actually doing it in the process, basically. But, sir, do you think, having a good degree, doing an MBA before that would definitely be much better when you're starting up? Or should we, if we have an idea, should we just start up and leave it to the process?
I mean, there are a lot of examples. Facebook and all these companies are built by people who are dropouts. So, I mean, I
Yes.
don't think education should be a bar for that. If you have a great idea, get going. And by the way, if all of you are saying this, you guys all had 2 years of time where you were sitting at home, and the colleges were all virtual. So I'm sure that was the best time where anybody could start. But looking forward also, if you have something, I think all of you have enough time. In my college days also, we had a lot of time, and I used to keep doing one or the other thing, which helped me develop those skills. So education is not a barrier. It really helps you to broaden up your horizon, but it's not the barrier.
Right, sir. So now we have, if any of the participants want to ask any other question, you all can text that in the chat box.
Actually, I have a question for you. So, we always see you running around in the office fully energized. How do you keep yourself so motivated?
Yeah, I think I enjoy what I do, and that keeps me motivated. I mean, this is the work. I breathe, I eat, I sleep. And by the way, there is one interesting thing. What keeps me going, when I interact with young. By the way, our average age of people in the organization is 26, 27. So when I see young folks running around talking nice things, that gives me different level of boost. And that's the secret, Akriti.
Got it.
So that brings me to another question. So in the initial stage, how did you feel when you saw people, when they started using your brand's headphones? And so how was your reaction, and what did you feel?
So I missed this out. There's the best feeling when you see people using your product, and you ask them the feedback about it, and they say that, like one person in the chat said, "Ki I'm a Noise user." So that's the best feeling, Diksha. And trust me, when we saw the first product, somebody wearing it for the first time, we went to the customer, asked his feedback, and that was the real happiness for us, that we are trying to build something, and people are appreciating it. I mean, that's the best thing I think has happened for us, seeing people enjoying the product.
Absolutely. I'll definitely start using Noise headphones.
Yes, you should.
And yes, absolutely. After this, the next question that we have from the audience is that after Shark Tank, a lot of people are now interested in entrepreneurship, and they want to start their own organization. So when it comes to all the people do not have fund savings or funds when it comes to starting their own business. So what do you think in the initial phase? Because when the companies are not making revenue, a lot of VCs and are actually not very interested. So how do you think, how can they be sustainable while they're starting out?
So, you need to build a product which has got a real demand in the market. I mean, if you're creating a product which is very virtual, very fancy, there are going to be no takers for it. And when especially you are building something when you are young, or you have less money, by the way. Less money also is helps you to innovate actually. You try to solve the problems deeply when you have no money, and when you have good capital, you just start solving the problems without going deeper into it. So I mean, solve a real use case and you will automatically find buyers for your product in terms of customers or investors both. And I think entrepreneurship is the best thing you guys should try.
Yes, sir. So, sir, how do you think this year's Shark Tank was when it came to it motivated a lot of people to actually just start, because there's a new wave, the entrepreneurship wave that we call, which has emerged after Shark Tank. How do you think like how beneficial was Shark Tank for India?
No, absolutely right, Diksha. We feel that Shark Tank has, there were a lot of people who want to be entrepreneurs, but they kept everything inside them. So this Shark Tank has exposed all of them, and that all of a sudden that spirit has come in from inside, popping out. And I think it. And by the way, you guys will be the next generation of entrepreneurs who will take country to the next level. And Shark Tank has really helped it out. And I see a lot of people coming up with new ideas and be open with it through raising funds and all. So it gonna help in the long run.
Yes, sir. Sir, with this, we are done with the question and answer round, and we are extremely thankful to you for answering all our questions. It was a really informative and an enriching session for all of us. And we are sure that the takings from this webinar will hold our audience in good stead for years to come. And so we are really, yes, sir.
No, thanks, Diksha. I think there is a question for me, so let me answer that.
Yes,
Dave has
sir.
written that I am passionate about a field that has a lot of competition, so that particular things draws me away. So what is your suggestion for it? And Dave, I'm competition not the right way to look at it. I mean, you need to see what you are solving for. If there is a competition or not, you will be able to crack that. And if you want to be the I mean, if in a variable space, let's say आप कहते हो कि मुझे variable space में कुछ करना है, and if you build a product which is like a me too, you will not going to be sustained. So you need to see what is the set of consumers you are talking to and आप उनके लिए क्या solve कर रहे हो. And if you're able to do that, you will be able to enter any space where we are, where the market is. Shriyom, we have manufacturing setups in India. So Southeast Asian countries, the manufacturing happen, but now you will see 50-60% of the products being made in India. It's happening, by the way, Mr. Seth. Yeah, Diksha.
Yes, so the next question that we have is again on Shark Tank. And sir, what are your views on the comparison that people draw between Shark Tank India and Shark Tank US? Even though it showed, even though in India it showed a lot of new entrepreneurs, but would you do any difference that you find among yes?
So Diksha, I mean, not the right comparison, because demographically that country is very different and India is very different. हम लोग क्या कितनी languages हैं, कितने states हैं, doesn't exist. So India is itself on a different tangent. We should not be comparing ourselves with the US. And I mean, there is no comparison. It's a very developed nation. We are a developing nation.
Right, so with this, we have come to an end of this of the question and answer session. And sir, we are really grateful to get this opportunity to learn from you today, and definitely look forward to hosting you in the future as well.
No, thank you guys. Thank you so much for joining and coming today. We look forward and wish you good luck to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you to all our attendees for having joined us today, and we hope that this session was a great learning experience for you as well. Do join us today at 5:30 p.m. for an evening filled with entertainment, as we have with us the quirky and charismatic Uruj Ashwat. The link for the same has been shared in the chat box. Kindly note your attendance for this session has been noted, and the procedure to avail the credits would be informed to you. Thank you for having joined us today. We look forward to seeing you in all our future events. You may now leave the meeting.